And we're recording.
We're here.
All right. We need to write Zoom P4 a letter for the PodTrack company, because this is a nice little device, but sometimes it gets sassy on us.
Yeah, you don't want sassiness if we're trying to be reliable with our recording.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to look at something else.
It's going to be 2001 Odyssey, and you're just like monkeys, and we're smashing that very soon.
Have the big obelisk. Okay. So, we just got done training a little bit.
Yep.
Pretty low-key training sesh, but it was good.
Ankles don't feel good.
Oh, sorry about that.
But you know whose ankles are going to feel worse? Your competitors.
Oh, watch out, guys.
Watch for your feet.
I probably won't go for an ankle lock.
That's to throw you off.
Yeah. But, so have you seen the movie RRR on Netflix?
Is it a pirate movie? No, I'm joking. It's like a foreign film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. Maybe
Very good.
You told me about this a while ago. No, I've not seen it, though. Isn't it a longer movie?
It is. It's actually really entertaining, though. Kayla liked it, too. It's like a Hindi movie. Funny enough, I put it on subtitles because I thought the English one was just weird.
Oh, sometimes necessity.
Yeah, it's like the classic Kung Fu movie where the guy is talking like this.
Like some of them, like when I watch Legend of the Drunken Master, like the second one, not the first Drunken Master, but like some of it he sounds better when it's like the English dub overs. I don't know. Sometimes I don't
sometimes
mind
it works.
Sometimes I just like the authentic.
Yeah. I think it depends on how good it is and the vibe and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought it was a fun movie. Super fun, just a little bit different. And you should actually check it out. I really like that movie. And there's this cool part in it too. I don't want to wreck it for you, but one of the characters ends up having a conversation with somebody about how you are not guaranteed an outcome. The only thing you get is a chance to work hard for it.
Ooh.
I thought that was a fitting quote for today's episode.
I screwed it up again. She watched this movie? No. Oh. All right. Let me explain the whole movie to you.
Let me put the whole team on my back, Levi. No, it's okay. I think we still got there. Because today's episode is talking a little bit about like tournament prep.
Yeah.
Not that Levi and I are master competitors. Actually, technically, I am a master competitor, and so is Levi. But it's not like we're like high-level competitors or anything like that. In fact, I'm doing my first competition in 2 days. And Levi's done a handful of competitions, but we thought maybe we would share some of our experience thus far. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about as well in the context of this is before the tournament. So I'm going to share my thoughts on it. And then we can see after the tournament how wrong I am.
Yes.
I thought that'd be fun. But yeah, so before we do that, what's actually been helpful in my prepping for this competition? I've been using the Jiu-Jitsu training journal.
I don't know what that is. Can you explain
that
to me more?
You do, Levi.
I'm setting you up now.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were going to be like, what's the Jiu-Jitsu training?
What I said. Okay. I'm unfamiliar with this.
Well, I don't know. You didn't know RRR. You didn't do any other sports. I don't know what we're doing here.
Else.
No, but yeah. So the Jiu-Jitsu training journal, our Jiu-Jitsu friend Nina, who lives down in the Milwaukee area, trains down in the Milwaukee area, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, Nina, if we're wrong in that, come on the podcast and correct us. But no, she ended up making her own little custom journal, and it's super neat, and I've actually been using it. And it has a neat little breakdown about observations, what you train that day. It has a nice gridded area that you can really write whatever you want, which is honestly the part that I use the most, that and just little notes that as I'm watching instructionals, I'll actually write my notes down in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And use it for brainstorming.
Yeah, breaking news that me and Nina have been collaborating for making a custom theory training one. So cool. I was collaborating on a couple different sections to include, just because the training journal does a good job, especially if you're training at multiple places and times and instructors. So this one is just more confined to like your training gear and sections like day one or day whatever and subject and rolling goals and things like that. So just from my experience of what feels like it's helpful for note taking.
Yeah.
I think, or to organize your thoughts, like
that'll be cool.
Definitely like pre-thoughts and then post-thoughts. Like pre-thoughts coming in, going, what are like my goals today for rolling?
That's a good idea. And then you reflect on those rules?
And then you reflect on it.
Oh,
later.
I love that.
It's like, what's my goals today for rolling? And then like class subject. And then going to class, like class subject. And then like class notes. And then key principles, which I thought was cool.
Nice.
Because it's just like your core themes kind of thing. Like something to take away from it. Maybe not like a ton of like, don't keep your elbows out or whatever. Then it's like rolling notes. So it's, okay, what happened? And then, like, I think, like, things to improve upon for next time, like things to do it. And then the last section was like, what went well
Nice.
for you? So that way it's not like, how do you feel about it or whatever? And it's a lot of times people feel bad about it after rolling. If you get smashed, especially if you're newer or you just feel a little more clumsy, I think it's better to frame it at the very end going, what went well today?
I think that's a really good idea.
That way it goes into the next training session. This went well.
You guys are going to knock that out of the park.
We'll try.
That'll be really cool.
I'm going to try to get one where it's like a white belt one or something where the very
to white
in the
path
beginning,
to blue.
But let's say you fill it up.
The blue
right?
brick road.
But you could have where it's like, this is my white belt one. And then if you get another one, you could be like white belt stripe 3, like where you're at. But you can have 2 that are like white belts. And then
you could have it
that way you can
with
have
your
a stack.
curriculum.
It's cool. But you could have it where it's like you can show your progress over time. Because
That's
a white
cool.
belt I was looking at.
But if you can get different colors of the training journal as the belt is what you're saying? Okay.
It's some cool like subtle white or subtle blue or something like that. Like just something.
Or if the pages are like a hint of that color. It could be interesting.
That's a good thought too.
Nice. So you guys are going to knock that out of the park. That's gonna be really cool.
I've just been seeing more and more people utilizing it. Most of the stuff when I take notes, I'm just silly and keep it floating in my head, or I'll vocalize it onto my phone. But I think the journal does a way better job of organizing your thoughts.
There's something about writing something by hand. Like I like to use my iPad here for a lot of stuff.
We've talked about that, right? With the memory retention of being able to like literally just physically write things.
I'm going to show you something I built too. One sec.
Okay. I felt like I was going to fill time right there, but I didn't know what to say. Oh, that's like your card that you
this is my first cheat sheet I built. Yeah. Let's see if you look at the front. If we're on video, people could see this, which will be on video next year, folks.
Well, it's nice you got the title here of how to wrist lock white belts. That's pretty nice.
How to wrist lock white belts.
I'm joking.
Be serious, Levi.
That's not what it says.
But no, I use Nina's training journal first.
Underhook system, standing game.
I used Nina's journal first to collect my thoughts on it. And then I wrote this on a note card. And if you flip the note card over, you'll see a color-coded process on, it's really just basic, but essentially they do A and I do B, or I do A and they do B. And just a little refresher. And honestly, the practice is actually making the card or writing your notes in your journal.
It's the same thing with note-taking for like tests or whatever. Like just the process of doing it just helps.
So anyways, everyone, if you're interested in Nina's training journal, which you should be, if you're not interested in it, you should be ashamed of yourself. And they're available on Amazon.
They are.
For a very fair price. I don't know how Nina's making any money on these things.
We'll put the link to the Amazon link. We'll put a link on our description notes. We'll do it, or the
show notes.
We'll put the link to the Amazon product on our show notes. So when you look at our description, you should be able to see it.
Give Nina your money. Give her your money so she can buy some Lamborghinis.
Great investment. Like I said, I like the idea that things like this just helps improve everyone's jiu-jitsu. Better organizes it, means you remember things better retention on the mats.
And Nina, if you're listening to this and you're like, man, these guys did a cruddy ad for me.
We tried.
No, you should come on and you should do it right.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
You should promote.
I would actually really like to hear Nina's story. She's got some strong jiu-jitsu. Oops. Levi just spilled Mountain Dew on his table.
Don't say what I was drinking.
It actually looks really tasty.
This stuff, it's red. It's game fuel. Now they're gone. I got to clean up. Now you got to fill the time.
Okay. So anyways, you should definitely check out that product on Amazon. It's really cool. Nina did an awesome job on it. And support local or small entrepreneurs. We're really big on that around here. And so that was pretty sweet. Levi's running right now. He's got a paper towel. Play-by-play, everyone. The carbonation is still bubbling on the table, folks. On this now, let's just.
It looks healthy to drink.
Yeah, it's true. It's bubbling orange goop on this table. Hey, that looks tasty. That's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm curious. I really don't drink soda very much. Not because I'm better than soda, but just because I just never really been into soda that much. I like root beer sometimes. But every now and then, I'll see a Mountain Dew when their new flavors come out, and I'll be like, that might be cool to try.
Mine's not too bad. I should say too bad, because it's still bad. But I like fruit drinks are my thing.
I have a hot take for you, Levi. Food cannot be ethically bad or good. It is simply food.
It's simply food?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on if it's good with like longevity, if you want to be able to stay alive and stay quality.
It's just when we say like food is bad or good sometimes. I guess some people could make the argument of ethically bad if they're like really into like vegetarianism or something. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's an argument there. I take back my words. But I think when it comes to junk food, it's like when people, I think I've said this before on the podcast, when people are like, McDonald's isn't healthy. Yeah, They're not optimizing for health, dude. They're optimizing for speed and flavor.
And for joy.
And joy, yeah. They're optimizing for childhood memories right now.
That's funny.
And if you think McDonald's is healthy, I have a news flash for you. You got to get with the times, folks. Listen to your grandma. Your grandma will know what's right.
Okay, there was a grandma that was 100 years old, and they asked her why she got to 100, and she said she drank a Dr. Pepper a day.
There you go. That's
it.
News.
That's real news.
That's the trick.
A human said it, so
yeah.
I'm going to go with the template.
Gordon Ryan, how you so great at jiu-jitsu? I drank a Dr. Pepper a day.
I'm good with that.
I know I made him an old lady. But okay, so back onto our original topic. We got our 11 minutes of banter in. And so, Levi,
yes.
Today's talking about competition. You have more experience competing than me. I've prepared for 4 competitions, and this will be my actual first.
I've prepped for a lot too, but now as a brown belt, the divisions get a little more scarce.
So how many times have you competed?
Let's see what's here. 1, 2, 4 times.
4 times?
4 times
okay.
I've competed.
Nice.
No, I apologize. 5 times. 4 times in the recent years, and then 1 time back in like 2009, 2008.
I want to say, I actually like the story you said when you were originally at a school that we won't be naming, but they had a certain philosophy on competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had a kind of a process where you peeled the onion, so to speak, on understanding competitions a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping you could share that with our listeners.
Yeah. So I think sometimes, especially when people get into competitions, that there's this inherent fear that if you go to a competition that they're going to tear your arm off or tear your neck off, or
it's true.
It's true, yeah, that way. But it's more of a blood sport type thing. And sometimes it's just weird horror stories that people put on. It's obviously people are wanting to win. So the idea though was that I heard all these things, and instead of like people coming up to me and going, Levi, like, what's your thoughts on should I compete or not? I was like, I don't feel like I give a really valid opinion unless I go experience it myself, to go dive into it and go, okay, and I can give my 2 cents because I went and competed. And I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. What I feel helps immensely with the competition process is something that nobody really thinks of too much, but it's literally using it. It sounds silly.
Bold claim.
Nobody has it. Nobody thinks of it. You use it as a
first time.
You use it as a networking opportunity.
Oh, okay.
So I say that because there's a good chance that these other people that you're going against, there are also jiu-jitsu nerds and people that really enjoy jiu-jitsu at another school.
That's a great
you guys
point.
are coming together. So I think a lot of times when injuries happen and this intensity happens is because you're facing someone who in your mind is nameless. You have no background. You have no idea who they are. And a lot of times if you're coming to compete, you're trying to, obviously you want to come in like you're paying good money and wanting to win the tournament and have a good time with that. But if you see this person, you have no clue who they are, now they're just an obstacle in the way of you winning that $5 gold medal. So that's a weird part. But let's say, for example, if I were to do a competition and I tapped one person and then I found out that Matt and I were going against each other. Matt and I probably could have a good spirited role, but at no point...
We do have good spirited roles.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in a competition sense, no matter what that gold medal is, it's not worth it to me at all to break your leg or break your arm in order to win that gold medal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it to me because I value you and our friendship. And
I'm going to break your arm, though.
Go for it.
I'm kidding.
I was going to throw some bad stuff out there. I'll get another point on that, too. But it's not worth it because you know the person now and you're, like, connected with them. And no, I don't want to break your arm. We're just playing a silly game.
Yeah.
But
this is fun.
But this is someone you don't know, especially on, like, local circuit type stuff. It's like, why? It's not worth it to me. So if you have that mindset, then you're just fine. Like, you don't feel like anyone's actually going to break your arm. Like, you're just having fun. But that comes down to speaking with people. You're chilling around the ring, or you see someone buy it and you're like, oh, hey, like we do here. Hey, my name is Matt. And we're like, oh, where are you from? Now suddenly we compete against each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think some of this fear with competition was like, what's the best word for this? Othering.
Yeah.
Like you're making this is like
World
rival,
War II.
Yeah, like this like rival school and we're going to win. And these other people, almost like some sort of Cobra Kai thing. You're just trying to win. And like these people are in the way for us getting this medal versus, hey, we're having a really fun hobby. It doesn't mean that your quality of jiu-jitsu has to go down. It's just saying that I think if you use it in a space to talk with people, I think both of you will feel better about competing hard, but it will make you feel less likely to rip a limb or choke somebody with that too.
Nice. As if we had for local tournaments, kind of a thing where when you faced off on your partner, before you slapped and bumped, you go, let's both get to work on Monday. If you both were just like, hey, or even be like this, hey man, I am going to do my best to not hurt you. Can you do the same for me? But let's still roll as hard as we can.
There was a jiu-jitsu meme that said something about that. It was like, hey, do you want to roll light? Oh, do you mean you want to start light and go unnecessarily hard for two men in their 30s who have full-time jobs to go to with very little to no insurance?
Yeah.
Yes. Can we do heel hooks? Absolutely.
But for reals, though, imagine how much anxiety would be relieved. Because think about this. You're worried about getting hurt. You're not worried about hurting somebody else.
Another person, too. The person you're going across, what's the odds that they're thinking the same stuff?
That's what I'm saying. Right. I'm saying the same thing.
So you both vocalize it.
Yeah, just say,
like, hey, we were cool.
I'll do my best to not accidentally hurt you. I hope you can do the same for me.
I'm saying if you're bouncing on the side ring, you walk off and you face this person and you're like, and angry and upset, you're like othering them because you're assuming they're going to break your leg if they have the chance. And they're probably assuming you're going to do the same.
Yeah. You see someone come out all tight and just, oh, God, this guy's going to hurt me if I don't hurt him first.
I can't tell you the number of times I've made people laugh during competition rolls.
That's good. Maybe I should start doing that. Should I whisper things?
Yeah. Well,
just for us out here.
I'm just saying, oh, your leg pressure's so tight. And they're like, oh, yeah, thanks. Like, they start laughing.
That'd be a good idea.
But suddenly it lines up a little bit, you know?
So anyways, back to your story. I remember you were telling me you came from a place that was like, oh, my God, this is so dangerous. So then you actually did something cool.
I don't know what I did, and that was cool.
You went and watched one. You didn't sign up for it, right? You actually went and watched one first, you said. This is something you told me a couple years ago. I think you said you went and watched to see if it was truly this arm-ripping experience.
No, so that was the same one.
Okay.
I just went and signed up.
Oh, okay.
I just went and did it. I was like, I need to give like an honest experience opinion. And it feels wrong of me to be telling people yes or no to do something or to give my opinion on it if I've not experienced it myself.
Fair.
Should I get married? Yes or no? It's like, well, if you've never been married, I think you can't really give a strong, honest opinion at that point. But so I went and competed. I actually got gold. So I won.
Dope.
I had some good challenging matches.
Were you purple belt then?
Yes. I was
okay.
purple belt. So I had some good challenging matches, but I was talking with them beforehand and chill. And I was watching other people and they were doing this just fine. I didn't see this, go, rip his arm off, and like this aggressiveness. Like it was just a whole bunch of people just doing jiu-jitsu. Like I didn't see this like aggressiveness that I was being told that was going to be there. But I made a good friend out of it. Andrew, I hate when I do that. I said, I have a good friend.
Jiu-Jitsu's not great for last names. It really isn't, though. If you told me to name anybody's last name in here.
Andrew, I have a privacy too. Andrew. So I think I remember his last name now. But Andrew, so he's a brown belt now too, but he competed and he was a super nice guy. But now it's someone that I was friends with on Facebook and see his training and things like that. Like
most people are pretty cool.
Does that seem more of a valuable thing, especially in a local circuit, than to, rip someone's arm off? Like it to me, long term, just doesn't pay off. Plus, I like being in those competition settings too, and not feeling like I need to go quick and fast to break someone's arm. But it's just this fear that they don't want you to compete because there's like, and plus, it's not like from their experience either. They hear things or they've been to a school, and at times I've heard that it's just, I don't know, like it's sometimes if the culture is a little weird, they can be deterred by it and have that one bad experience or heard a story. And it's the same with jiu-jitsu in general. You can hear people like, oh, my brother-in-law trained jiu-jitsu and this guy like ripped his ear off or whatever. And then it gives you that bad tone jiu-jitsu. Sometimes people hear and go, don't do sport jiu-jitsu. I knew this guy that had his arm broke at a competition and the guy was laughing at it or whatever. There's always horror stories when you think about any sports or whatever, but 98% of the time, people are well-intentioned and just want to have a fun time with other people.
I think that's legit. It was fun to watch last time we were at Grappling Industries.
Oh, very much. And here's the cool thing. Matt and I were sitting there with our booth, and we met a lot of nice people.
Yeah, everybody was so cool.
I don't think you could really name one person that came up to us.
I was really sad that our audio didn't work.
Yeah.
Or didn't.
We'll get that another time.
Yeah, corrupted. Because I was like, man, these people have really cool stories. If you're listening to this and you see us at Grappling Industries, say hi.
Yes.
We're not going to be at our booth.
That would be fun.
This time, but yeah, that'd be really cool. So I actually had something I wanted to share with the group too, that I was listening to an episode of BJJ Mental Models.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 257.
Okay.
With Rob Bernacki.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah, I know. I'm a Bernacki fanboy. Always have been.
Bernackiite.
I'm a Bernackiite. But I really do like the way he thinks about jiu-jitsu and whatnot, and I think he's pretty funny. But he actually, his team did really good at ADCC Open, the one that's in that area. His team won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
4 people signed up in his division, Island Top Team.
Yeah.
He said he had 5 people go there. 1 accidentally signed up under the wrong place.
Jeez.
And so he had 4 people competing.
Okay.
And he won the team as well.
Oh, very cool.
Against one of the other teams had like 24 people there, and the other one had like 10 or 12.
Wow.
And
impressive.
they didn't go there being like, we're world killer. They were just more like, hey, let's go do this, guys.
Yeah.
And they had some things though that really was going for them, and I thought I'd share it on the podcast for anyone else too. But they do a lot of prepping to the rule set to make sure that they're prepared. They actually do camps for the different things that they're going to be doing.
Makes sense. There's
So
different
that
rules.
way they can have a good setup. And then they also tend to look at the bracket for the more advanced students because they know who everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
And so he actually was even like, hey, my game plan is going to be probably not to submit this guy that I'm probably going to fight in the finals or roll against in the finals. And I'm going to have to try to win on points. That's just the reality of it. And he's 48. He's got some mileage on him. And I thought that was just really cool. But so prepping to the rule set's a big one that they do. And he really talked about how pumping yourself up is not necessary, and it's actually probably a detriment. If you need to get pumped up to try and win, your jiu-jitsu is probably not very good.
When I used to help out with MMA events, it was always the people that were jazzing themselves up in the locker room and jumping down and slapping themselves that always seemed to lose. It was always the person that looked bored, like it was an office day for them.
Because they're doubting themselves probably is why they're doing it.
So I always give the context of if you were sparring in like a youth division, like if an adult did, would you see any of the same behaviors? Would you see putting headphones on and jumping up and down and be like, you got to be a killer? You'd be like, no, I'm just like
chill.
You'd be sitting there having a burrito or whatever, and all of a sudden be like, oh, my division's up. All right, I'll see you guys in a second.
Got to be Kramer against all the karate
exactly,
kids.
Exactly. But it's that visual. It seems extreme, but it's the same way. If you view how well you do things, some of the scariest people I've rolled with had that calmness about them. And it's literally the manifestation of confidence from sincere experience.
Yeah.
If you don't feel, we talk about strategy and all that kind of stuff, which is good, but you'd have to be, you're like almost like thinking, what if they do this or what if they do? If you really know your stuff inside and out on a subconscious feel, like why would you be concerned? You'd be like, no matter what they do to me, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I give that example of youth, and maybe this is good advice for everyone competing too. If you feel that you have to jazz yourself up and hype yourself up and run around and all these kinds of things, to me, I feel that seems more often than not like white belts or blue belts division, which makes sense because you don't have the experience. You don't have the experience to know like what you can or can't do or what they can or can't do. It's so open world. Imagine, this is an analogy off the top of my head, so I apologize. Imagine if we're like having two castles and they have to go to war with each other and you have no clue what could be in somebody else's castle. But like you don't know what they have and suddenly they're doing some crazy things. But as you get over time, you realize that there's only so many things somebody can have in like their other castle that they're having warfare. You know, it's like you're not like totally surprised by seeing.
They're taking the ballistas out.
Ballistas
all right.
Whatever, but it's an experience in war, right? It's like you've seen the weapons, you've seen the tactics, but then it's your confidence to know that you're able to overcome it. So it makes sense. Like I'm going to war going, oh, I've never, like, let's say Musashi, for example, for sword fighting, like imagine like up to its like 50th duel, you're thinking like he's afraid that he's not going to see something and it's going to cost him. That's the weird part because in jiu-jitsu and competitions, why are people getting so, I wonder what Musashi's state was before a duel.
It's the void. That was in the Book of Five Rings.
That was the last chapter,
That was the void. Enter the void.
I think everyone should study that.
You simply exist is what it is.
I think the idea is that you have to let that stuff become subconscious to be brought forth. But when you're a white or blue belt, you don't have anything. It's like nothing's coming forth. So I feel that in competitions early on, some of the scariest divisions I see is actually white or blue belt because people are still lacking experience. It's usually the higher up belts or the more experienced belts or ranks that it seems like people are a lot more, they're aware of like single legs and double legs and Iminaris. Like they're aware of certain these monsters coming in and they know when certain things are set really hard in place or when you have things in place. But it's still like a lack of confidence. I always have loved watching people like was it the New Wave team with Gordon's team, is because they always seem like they're told by Danaher to be calm. Like the 16-year-old female, what's her name?
Helena Carver.
Yeah, Helena Carver. Like she always seems dead face, Big Dan seems dead face.
She walks a lot, though. You can see she's got nerves.
Yeah. But there's like this visual.
Dan seems like he's napping.
You know what's funny? Danaher said that if you want to watch someone's nerves, he's watch their legs.
Really? That's funny.
His legs will get jitteries. So that's why, like he said, like you watch Gordon came up to Galvan, nothing was moving. Like his legs was just like calm.
Let's do it,
versus jittery and jumping around. So when you think about that and people are jumping around, like it's just the scariest people, like I said with Matt, that Marcel Garcia was really known for sleeping in the stands before he went and competed.
I wonder how much of that was like fake.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
But he said one time I had to wake him up beforehand and then he'd say, "What do they start with?" And they're like, "Double." He goes, "Okay." Like it's like a chess thing. What's your first move? Like rook to whatever, and go, "All right." Like what their first thing is, and that can at least give you a little bit prepped ahead of time. But he always talked about saying, "I can give my game away because no one knows my game better than me."
That's why he started filming it.
So
MG in action.
It makes sense. Oh, that was such a great website. It makes sense. So if you know your game very well, you won't be anxious. You have to develop that in the studio. And unfortunately, folks, anything a week out prior to it, you're not going to suddenly have these new instincts unless you're super, super conscious in the moment from a crazy pause or something like that. Because adrenaline and all that kind of stuff. But I think I want to research more of the void stuff.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If we lose at a competition, the world doesn't end.
No.
It's like, all right, there was a match, just like you lose in the studio. But for him, that's done.
His spine must have been iron.
But imagine those first couple of things to be like, you're set in place in a duel, and to come forth, like it's that Tyson effect. Like whoever's facing Musashi, to be like, it's nothing about technique now. It's like everything with your mind.
Yeah.
We're about to.
Did you finish that book?
No, I have it on your Audible, so
nice.
I'm carving through it. But I think like Danaher had a really good example of, he called it the plank parable. I'm not sure if you heard of it or not.
No.
But you'll probably understand it when I say it. Over here, for
example.
It
was huge on the internet in like 2008.
What's that?
Planking.
It's not planking. Go in front of a jiu-jitsu competition, just plank. Keep your arms and hands by your side and your neck, and no one can take your back.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. But let's say, for example, on the edge of these mats I'm looking at right now, if you were to walk on this edge,
yeah,
you'd be like, no problem, skip along. Put this thing
10 or 100,000
10 stories up in the air. Stories, yeah. You'd be like deathly afraid to go to the edge.
Yeah.
You've probably seen some videos
I've thought about
online.
that actually, where you see people like hang off the edge of things. And if that was 1 foot off the ground, I wouldn't care. But because it's up there, the risk is so high.
There's some like Russian climbers that would like climb buildings, climb
cranes.
Scaffolding and cranes.
Yeah, they're crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Those people would be fantastic to like interview, or not only interview, but to do like brain scans.
Yeah, that'd be like Alex Honnold, where they don't get scared or whatever.
Okay, so Jill's got a huge crush on Alex Honnold.
He's got pretty eyes.
He's got sausage fingers. You ever see his
hands are massive.
His hands are just massive.
They're not sausage. They're big sausages, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he's got
huge. So
huge hands.
He said this statement that said, if I get nervous, something went wrong.
That's a good saying.
If I'm feeling anxious, something went wrong.
Yeah, because he preps and preps
so
and preps.
That's what he says.
He
went through that one path. Was it
when he climbed El Cap?
Yeah, El Cap. Like he said, he just done it thousands of times mentally and climbed it with ropes and just did it so many times.
He even cleans the route.
So he knows. So it feels dangerous, but I just like the idea. It's like if I get anxious, something went wrong.
I'd still get anxious.
Yeah, I know.
My hands are sweating just talking about it.
Me too. But I think that's because you don't know.
Yeah,
you
don't know
what you would
that.
do. So of course, like your natural
I know what I would do. Fall. I'd fall. That's what I would do.
But like I think the anxiety. So, for example, when you start jiu-jitsu, completely new, people are feeling that's almost similar anxiety when they step onto the jiu-jitsu mats versus a competition. It's like a new level.
Yeah.
Also, you're anxious and scared. And why is that? You have no clue what to expect. You don't know if they can do a flying armbar, they can do a choke. Like you have no clue what monsters are in the forest, or like I said, what's in their castle. But after a while, you know, and you see those things, then pretty soon you start saying, they have to do this in order for this to come out. There's a couple of things you can prep ahead of time. So I'm sure it's the same with like rock climbing. Like there's certain things that have to happen, but if you have no knowledge and awareness, like everything seems like a boogeyman. So you're just this anxiety. So if you come out to the jiu-jitsu tournament and you're facing someone, it's just an unknown. First, let's say Musashi knew this one duelist, and he's every single time they would cut a certain way. And there's a couple stories he had of people who had different themes, like a different weapon, or the last one he had with the long sword.
Yeah.
It's like there's certain themes like that, but styles, like, oh, he always comes out with a certain angle. So it might give you a mental prep or something, but it's still like you have no clue where all their tricks are.
Yeah,
at that
that's
point.
why I actually, to jump back to what Rob Bernanke was sharing, he's got a great tip for this.
Yeah.
Don't be tied to the outcome. Instead, have the things that you can control to be part of your identity, not the winning and losing. Because that's actually what increases your anxiety, because it's like the unknown and you're tying your identity to the idea of winning. And he's like, hey, everyone loses. Everyone does. Everyone loses. Everyone has
I
love.
don't want to lose today.
But he says, but instead, what you should do is my identity is tied more to I'm a guy who does things he says he's going to do. I'm the type of guy who's going to show up because I said I would. And I'm the type of guy who's going to prepare the best that I can with within the context. He had like a broken hand a little bit before it and stuff, but he goes, I'm going to do my best preparing for this, and that way, that's all I can control. And if my jujitsu is good enough on that day, I will win.
So why do people get anxious? So again, this is why I go back to the plank parable, because what is the physical represent? It's a physical representation of height change. But why do things change in a jiu-jitsu match going from in your gym on a normal evening to a jiu-jitsu competition?
Because we apply meaning to it.
Yeah, we're applying meaning to it, meaning suddenly right now we're going to give you a gold medal if you win.
I think there's actually a vulnerability to it, and this is why. Because if you and I are rolling in the gym, and we're just doing stuff back and forth, we have some good rules, we go, cool, man, and we're done. Versus in a competition, you're going, I am trying my hardest. You try your hardest, and we'll see how good our hardest essentially is. And if you lose, that is you acknowledging the fact that your best was not good enough, and that's painful. I think that's honestly what it is.
Yeah, I think there's actually something more to it so me and my grappling invitationals I had here at Theory, I think actually what does it, because I gave some cash prize in a first place, which was okay, but I honestly think, okay, let's say for example, here, I'll give a good example. If we have matches going in here in the studio and suddenly everybody stops and watches you and Jordan roll.
I wouldn't even notice because I'd be getting smushed.
Me too. But suddenly we're all going to pause and watch Matt and Jordan go.
Honestly, that wouldn't bother me here though.
I think because
we're training.
But there's something to be said about like when Billy went, like suddenly now people are just watching you.
I think the Invitational has that air because also you try your best, I try my best,
but people are aware
we have
of it.
a room full of people and everybody knows that you're both trying your best.
Right.
So there's there's a vulnerability to it, I think, which is actually why I'm excited to do it.
Yeah.
If you feel vulnerable about something and you're like, that's actually probably a good or a good direction on your compass, that's the path you need to travel because growth is on the other side of it.
I think it's just when you say growth is on the other side, I think a lot of people have a difficult time seeing that path to growth. Like, what does that look like on the other end? What should I be doing? And that goes to people like your coach or other resources or yourself to see, like, what could I have done better with it? But I still think it's not like you're not coming out to a match to explore. Like,
no.
You're not with this like interest to be like, cool, let's see what you do.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's not like you're rolling. Like, a lot of times I roll with other gyms. It was fun to explore and be like, I'm just curious what you do.
Yeah.
But in a competition match, I think that sense of play goes out the window a little bit because you're just like, you're afraid that if you give them anything that maybe they can't get out, which is why I think Danaher pushes a huge emphasis on defensive skills.
Yeah. So you can end up like Gary Tonin where he
says, you can play because like they're going to get side control. Do you do a good job getting out of side control? And go, sometimes that's not enough to give you confidence. If you can get out of side control of anybody about your same experience level and weight,
size and age and stuff.
If you can't do it consistently, then you're going to be anxious. And if you're anxious, you're going to be tight. If you're going to be tight, there's a chance that you're going to get overtired because you're afraid of like letting someone in deep. And then suddenly it's just like, oh, I can't get out of it. And a lot more anxiety with it. It just shows your true colors at that point, like what you can actually do. But if you're going to get someone,
which is actually good if you think about it.
Well,
you want to know whether, like, where's your biggest weakness?
So if I were to place you, this was the question Lex Friedman asked of Roger Gracie. And he said, if I could place you in one position, and I think he said one submission, and kind of set things up, and you'd get $1 million if you could finish this person. Like, what position would you put yourself in? And he's a cross collar from Mount. But so like for you, for example, if I were to put you in the ideal situation, what would give you like the greatest level of confidence right now from your experience of what you've been able to pull off? How about people like your own experience level? So for me, for example, if I got an arm across or an arm triangle, like I feel pretty confident to.
If they get their face down though, then that becomes a problem.
It could be.
So I was just trying to think. If I'm all set up, the problem is I don't just have one right now. That's like my go-to.
Yeah.
And I think that's a no-gi situation because if you think about a cross collar from Mount, of course, that thing is brutally strong and it's by far one of the better attacks versus like arm triangle, a setup straight ankle lock.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident with. But then also having some good back control, but getting to the RNC is hard. But fighting from there is a good spot for you. I'd be torn between probably those 3 subs.
Okay. It'd be interesting, I think, like when I'm going through this mentally, if I was prepping for a tournament, that I feel like for anyone who wants to prep for a tournament to get confidence out of this, and this is coming into my 2024 goals, which we talked about in another episode, but goals. So if you're on a roll listening to us, my friend Joe last night, he was like, "Oh, you got a podcast up?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I see there's a podcast. I think there's 3, but it says like episode 24. And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Were you on Spotify?" And he's, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, we're playing with that right now."
Yeah, we
like,
got yeah.
There's some more episodes on the other one, but
yeah, okay.
So the idea though is that I think if I was training for it and prepping for it, I think I would try to get confidence to do my A game against people my same size and my experience level at your gym or someplace else, or to mix it with someone more experienced than me and maybe weighs less than me, or someone who's less experienced but weighs more than me. And you have to like literally go through a mental checklist of every phase of your game. So that includes standing phase, guard phase, pin phase,
kind of what we did today.
Phase. Yeah, well, but to like give that resistance to say, okay, I'm gonna put you with this person, and let's say Matt's examples for goal focusing. You spend a month on the standing phase. That you're like, I want to get confidence now that I can engage my opening game right away in this standing phase. Because if you can't develop consistent success with it, what's going to make you think that I'm going to go compete and you're going to do
pull
the same?
It off, yeah.
So same with pinning phase. Okay, I'm going to hold someone down. You're going to hold me down. And let's see how well I can escape and get out of it. And if you can't, what makes you think you're going to have the confidence to do that in a match against someone who's about your same experience level and size?
I got to start in bottom side control more often. Because if I'm starting in Mount, I'm like, all right, we're good. But no, that's a good point. So here, I'm going to jump to the next Bernanke thing.
Let's do it.
He says, do the right things in the competition, but more importantly, don't do dumb things.
Don't do dumb things.
Because, and he's got a very good point on this, combat sports have an instant win condition, and that makes it unique compared to other sports. For instance, in football, soccer, etc., if the other team scores, they just keep going. But in boxing, MMA, and grappling sports, they have an instant win condition, and that adds some anxiety for people, but also means that when you do something bad, it is heavily punished compared to, think about basketball. You do something, you make a mistake, they shoot on you, and they get a couple points. Versus Jiu-Jitsu, you do the wrong thing, you get your butt thrown on the mat, you get smashed, smushed, then choked. And then you lose too. You have no chance to recover it.
Do you think that kind of stuff though is like because it's a one-on-one thing with martial arts? Like team sports?
I think it's full domination too though. Because even if you did one-on-one basketball, you still wouldn't be like, whoever punches the other person.
What would change if, let's say in a team sport with points, if they say if you get like a 21-point lead, the game is over?
They'll do stuff like that sometimes. I know like...
I'm saying like, let's say football, for example.
Yeah.
Let's say they get up 3 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah.
And could they go... You were able to get this without any retaliation against the other person, like,
yeah,
you win. If you get 4 goals in soccer and they don't score anything, but like, the game's over.
It's still incremental. The way to play it would have to, like, it's the golden snitch situation.
I was just thinking the golden snitch.
That's funny. I was thinking it, and then my wife said it as I was sharing this idea with her, and it's a golden snitch. I'm like, I know, I was thinking the same thing. But you have to have, like, essentially the game, and then you have a separate game going that you could win it, is the way I was thinking about it.
Here's the problem. Something like the golden snitch, there's only one person has one job, and that's to get it.
Yeah, and that one.
But I'm saying, like, let's say...
How about this? Football, it'd be first point wins. That would have to be it. Starts in a neutral position, first point wins.
So that's the idea, though. What would tactics and stuff look like if that was the case?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that could be a whole episode. And we don't know anything about other sports. We're like the worst guys at. Like, they would run the football.
Well, okay, so let's say, for example, like judo. I think judo, like, I think it's...
Ippon or whatever.
Ippon or whatever. Is it like the Uchimata or something like that? Like, there's a main throw that if you're able to do something...
It's like those huge throws is my understanding.
Yeah, like if you're able to do that against another experienced person, like, that's not an easy thing to do.
Instant win. It's the pin in wrestling.
Right.
It's the submission in Jiu-Jitsu. It's the knockout in boxing. Also,
it's
as
to
a
do something
submission.
that's so extreme, but it's almost right away. But this is what I'm saying. Like a team sport can't.
Yeah,
What
unless
if you did like table tennis? You can't though because it's just there's
No.
one rule that's
and it's a you go, I go, you go,
Yeah.
I go. It has to be a game where there's I go, I win.
yeah, it's a
you know?
resource based. That's what all it is. I feel that's the case. All of a lot of this stuff is like resource based. Like I've grown to dislike the human chess thing. It makes sense when you're saying jiu-jitsu is very cerebral. Like you're have to be more technical, or
Not necessarily.
It can help being more technical. Let's put it that way.
There's some cavemen who do jiu-jitsu who are great at it
But if
too.
you pause and don't do anything, I love taking. Jordan's gonna hate me for this because I keep using this now. Because one time he said it, and I keep using it. If the other person's sleeping,
Yeah, if they're asleep behind the wheel, he's
like if they're sleeping, like because I would show him wrestling moves that I find online, and he's like, it can work if they're sleeping. Like I'm like they're not extremely focused, but to me it sounds like it's not a super advanced move. It's like something that you can catch an inexperienced person.
I've heard of this move called a single leg.
Exactly. But the idea is that if you're able to do something on somebody that's more experienced, then that should be like an instant win. So that should be like the sudden victory point. But it's just
to overwhelm them.
Yeah, but sorry. So on my point though is like it's a resource game. If you don't do anything and you don't defend me, I'm just gonna go and take everything from you.
Yeah. I think that's actually a mindset thing that'd probably be helpful for people, at least for me when doing the competition is it's not like when we do roles in here for fun, sometimes you give some, take some. You're training, you're working some positions. It's got to be, nope, I'm going again. You have to be a little greedy with your time, right? Like
I know a sport that has a one thing and it's completely done.
What?
Capture the flag.
Oh, you have to still get it across the line though.
But there's only one thing you have to do. Like you have to get
that's true.
one thing.
There's a one.
There's
the
no
whole game has
it.
There's no points though. Yeah, it's just one win condition.
So
actually, there's 2 win conditions.
That is technically
you can tag everyone out.
That is technically true because let's say I think jiu-jitsu is the only martial art that I've seen that used to have tournaments where it didn't have points and it was just the finish. Because there's submission only.
You
tournaments.
can do that with capture the flag too.
No, I was thinking martial arts. There's no point. Let's say you play judo and the only way to win is ippon the other person.
Wait till they're sleeping.
Well, I'm just saying to say like the only way to beat somebody
I was
now
meaning like
is just
literally sleeping.
Yes. But the only way to beat someone now is to literally submit them. It doesn't matter if you pass their guard. Doesn't matter if you do whatever tactics. You just have to submit them, and that's the bottom goal. But the idea is that with any other like points like MMA or whatever, imagine they said there's UFC matches that you don't actually win unless you knock out or tap out your opponent.
Oh yeah, there's no judges.
No judges, just 3 rounds and then
boring to watch though.
But then that's the thing to say, wouldn't those sports that have those conditions go to a neutral thing a lot of times if they're just trying to gate the other person from winning in that sense?
I don't know. There's the entertainment aspect of it. I'll admit, as much as I'm like, it'd be cool to be a purist about it hypothetically, I still like watching exciting matches.
That's what Gordon was saying with submission-only competitions, that he says then there's just no time limit. Then you just go. If you want to say until someone submits, it's like you saying, I'll just wait 24 hours until they start falling asleep.
Hopefully I don't fall asleep. I would never pass SEAL training. I'd fall asleep right away. Like the hell week or we have to beat out. But
that's the explanation of it. That wasn't a swear.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hold on. That was so funny. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was applause. Hold on. I gotta do this one instead. Oh, you gotta make sure to include these. Everyone, we have a sound pad on this. Hold on.
Let's see what's here.
That
made it sound like a joke. We were serious about that one.
Okay. But here, okay. So a couple other things. One, definitely go listen to that episode by Rob Bernacki and BJJ Mental Models, episode 257. He's got a lot of other really good stuff in there.
Yeah.
And really, I guess as we're coming to a close on this episode, we've talked about a lot of different tips and things that people can do. So Levi.
Yes.
Would you consider a belt promotion a competition?
Belt promotion?
Not the way you do them,
but
the way that you're going to have to do one, because it is a showcase.
Yeah, but I think as long, oh man, they get me in the spot here. I think as long as I know I did my best in that moment, Harvard progressed. It is what it is.
I think that's a good way to look at it.
That's funny how you say that, because you could say the same with competition.
That's what I said. Rob Bernacki said to do.
Here's the difference, though.
I see you're learning from Rob Bernacki already.
The difference, though, is that it's not like a 1v1 type thing. So when I'm doing these things, like it's almost a little bit of a Shark Tank, right? So it's like I go through some of my demo stuff. I get a little winded or a little burnt out, or not burnt out, but just a little more tired.
Warmed up
or whatever.
ready.
And then it's going against somebody who maybe I could do okay with. And then the second one, the third one, like with Roy or whatever, it's like, now I'm more tired. So I think there's just like less huge expectations to be like, dude, you were extremely tired or very tired, and now you go against a fresh black belt. Like, nobody's gonna really care. I would be more concerned if it wasn't just a demonstration, but if it was an actual real thing. Like
you had to beat everyone to get to the end.
You have to beat them.
Oh, Pokemon style.
Yeah.
That'd be actually interesting. You got to beat the gym leader to get the.
Like you have to do it. Like
you said, you're going to do badges next year. We're going to have gym leaders.
We should have gym leaders. We should have people who.
Well, gym leader day.
We should
have to work your way all the way through the mat.
We should have gym leaders for the counter badges.
For the counter badges.
Yeah, and someone has to, let's say, like someone's a triangle master. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And you have to escape their triangle.
You take down Jordan, you get a badge.
Or
you get your takedown badge.
Sorry, maybe that's something like that too. But yeah, like it'd have to be like a separate. It'd have to be like both either or. Like you'd have to like triangle the counter person, and you'd have to counter the triangle person.
Ooh.
Right. So like someone would have to be, if someone's really good at triangles, you'd have to be able to escape their triangle, and then someone who's really good at escaping triangles, you'd have to tap them.
We're getting down the rabbit hole, but what about this with the badges?
Yeah.
You have like a check card of how many people you have to be able to do that thing on. So like, for instance, mount escape.
Yeah.
If you can mount escape 30 people, like 30 different people at the school, you get yourself your mount escape badge.
Yeah, I think that was a tough part, was just like the metrics with that. I was just trying to figure out like what's equated for that, because initially it was just more like the knowledge based to do that stuff.
You'd rocket mount escapes if you could get through that checklist.
But to be able to go through that certain point, but to have like to say, I thought about it more like if you did like a Pokemon thing where it's I challenge the gym leader. It's not, Matt was sore from rolling this week, and suddenly like, all right, I'm gonna beat him up right now without him really knowing it, and then I'll take it.
Gotcha.
You'd have to be like, can I do a challenge match? And you'd be like, you want to give them an honest feel, like, actually, my neck's a little bit buggy or whatever. And it's okay, because you don't want to take something easy.
No one's ever going to get to train then, though.
But you can. I'm just saying, like, it's more like an honor type thing to be like, let's do this kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
Something to play with.
But. And same as Jiu-Jitsu bingo?
Jiu-Jitsu bingo.
All right, anyways. Sorry, everyone. We're getting off topic here.
It's all good.
Okay, but yeah, I was just curious if you would consider, because your competition or your preparation for a promotion situation would probably be very similar to prepping for a competition, though.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everything's on point. I think at this part, though, it's if I'm going through, let's say, 3 or 4 matches, like people are gonna be understanding that I'm tired and they're fresh. It'd be different if like they were as tired or something like that, but they're gonna be fresh. So it's already like now they're more experienced than me and fresher. It's like I think I would just be proud of doing as much as I could at that point.
Don't defeat yourself already.
But it's actually, no, I'm saying it's actually nice because it means that I don't have anything left to lose. If I could just go out there and just give it all my all, and even if I'm screaming or whatever, it's like, I'm good. I'm fine. I know I gave it my all at that point. Nice. It's like, I'm all good with that. Things happen.
All right. Let's wrap it up here. I know we got some things to do. Okay. So next year, by the way, Levi is learning about this as I'm saying it. Next year, we're going to be dropping our first rash guard and maybe some other merch. And if you have any ideas on what Levi should do to design this rash guard, please email us.
You would be so bad at business meetings, even though you rock them all the time, to be like, I'm going to announce what our business is doing to the public. Wait a second. We didn't talk about that out. That's a cool idea.
That'd be really funny, though, if, illegal to be mad at me, but everyone would be fine.
We can definitely do that. That'd be great.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, send in any ideas if you have any fun ones. Otherwise, we're probably going to have a generic rash guard.
What we could do is, if we design it, we could do a pre-order thing.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
And we can get, say, the pre-order gets to 10 or something like that, then we can ship them out.
I'm a great businessman. We just figured that out right now, real time.
Right. Rash guards.
Okay. Also, I do have a dream product.
A dream product?
Yeah. And this one's going to take some capital to get started, and I'm probably going to do it in a couple of years if we have enough people interested.
Is it a Google Glass that shows me my opponent's weaknesses? That'd be nice.
Much far more important. Actually comfortable athletic underwear for men. I know there's a lot of other companies out there,
yes,
but they are flawed, at least all the ones I've tried. And I want to make ones that are made for grappling sports.
Funny.
I just feel like there's not enough support in that industry.
Wow.
By golly, I'm going to do it someday, and that'll be a funny thing we sell. But seriously, I want to make comfortable under your gi or under your rash guard style.
Because there are like spats too, right? So
spats are not comfortable.
Yeah.
So I want to make ones that are comfortable, so you can roll in comfort and keep everything where it's supposed to be.
Good taglines with that.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, almost every guy I talk to is in the same boat on this. This is a fresh market.
That's interesting.
If you're listening to this, please don't steal my idea. But anyways, if you're interested in the Grappling Podcast underwear,
shorts, yes.
Grapple trunks, please let me know. Please shoot us an email. And honestly, if people are really interested in it, I will look at what it would take to get some manufactured.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now you have two items idea. I'm like,
grappling.
Oh, you know what we talked about?
Do you want to know the other products we're coming out with, Levi?
It's the grappling socks.
We could do the grappling socks. Also, the Grappling Podcast grapple bag that is specifically designed to be very functional. That's the grapple bag. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be coming out when I convince Levi that we need to do it. It's going to be called the grapple bag. But honestly, I think there's a lot there's a lot more that people want in a grappling bag, where you can separate your clean and your dirty, where you could have it stand on its own when you have a water bottle or two in it. Mm-hmm. Those types of things. Like
can the handle be actual lapel material? Ooh. So if you're like out and fighting, you could throw it over someone's neck and use it against.
I thought it'd just be fun.
I'm saying you can use it to leverage and choke people.
You could have. We're gonna put Velcro on it, so you can put different belt badge things on it.
Actually, reminds me. I should do like a theory bag just for the.
Hey, stop stealing my bag idea.
It's not bag. No, it's like the what's it called? Like the little
the drawstrings.
Drawstring one. Like
simple. Fine.
It's not something too complex.
Don't be stealing
just something that you
my
can
grapple bag
throw your
over here.
Stuff in there and walk through. I don't know.
Everyone, Levi's stealing my grapple bag.
I'm gonna do a Grappling Podcast energy drink.
Ooh. Actually, I was thinking about this. We could call it.
What's that?
It's a pre-competition drink called Preparation C.
Wow.
That'd be so funny.
C.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Matt's in charge of our marketing department, too.
Yeah. I just come up with the ideas. Levi actually is. But as of right now, does all the work.
I'm going to I gotta think of something else now, too.
But yeah, we'll come up with some good stuff. But anyways, if you're interested in some merch, Levi comes up with some really clever ideas for designs and whatnot. We'll end up coming up with something. And also, Theory also has some great merch. You got the armadillo shirt. You got the octopus grappling shirt.
That's a cool one. I like that one.
And the Theory One Wheel logo is sweet.
Stop saying that.
I think it's cool. One Wheel, please sponsor us.
That was like, it was supposed to be a black hole. And then suddenly we had someone come in there and goes, it looks like a One Wheel. I'm like, gosh darn it.
You know what's funny?
What's that?
Do you want to see it? I'm wearing my old logo from the gym I used to own.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's a V right there. And it was a compass.
Cool.
Yeah. That one took us like 3 or 4 versions to get to, though. We had some kind of interesting ones.
I probably will do some update in the future because I was thinking about changing to Theory Grappling Studio. So I was thinking about it. So if that's the case, I might update the logo just a little bit.
But if people search Jiu-Jitsu, then you're...
But it's just grappling, I guess. But it's like we have wrestling too.
That's true.
Leg locks and stuff. So it's like
home of the Grappling Podcast.
It's like submission grappling, right? So
yeah.
So I think grappling sometimes can cover that.
So if you're in the Appleton area and you want to come do some submission grappling, come to Theory Jiu-Jitsu Studio. That's Levi's school. It's great. It actually has, I'm going to make a bold statement, one of the best drop-in presence probably in the Fox Valley.
Yes, I give you a present when you drop in.
Yeah, and the knowledge of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's jiu-jitsu.
But for reals, there's people dropping in here all the time. Very friendly environment. Please come train with us. Say hello, and we can learn some things from each other.
Have a good time. That'll be good.
So where can people find us, Levi?
thegrapplingpodcast.com and 1 episode on Spotify.
Yeah. Hey, we're on Spotify. That's a win. I'll take it.
Every episode thus going forward will be an MP3. And then we're working on right now to try to upload the previous episodes.
Nice. We'll have that done by the end of the year?
Yeah,
no? Yay?
We'll try to.
Okay.
We have to find a different provider than if we're going to upload the Spotify ones.
Okay. So we're looking at changing providers.
Yes. We'll see.
If you know any good podcast platform providers, please let us know.
Here we go. Sweet. I think that's it.
All right. Bye.
Good luck, Matt, tomorrow.
2 days. 2 days from now.
Not tomorrow. It's going to basically feel like tomorrow. Yeah, 2 days from now.
Yep.
In less than 2 days, you'll be...
When this podcast drops next week on Tuesday.
Yes. We'll see what you say.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to say this one drops next Tuesday.
Oh, that's true.
We'll see what happens after that one.
Yes.
All right. Bye, everyone.